Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Let's start our class today with the prayer together. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, Guru Preceptors, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Shri Yukteswarji, beloved Master Paramhansa Yogananda Ji, saints of all religions, we bow at thy feet. O great ones, bless our lives with ever greater attunement, enthusiasm, joy. Help us to feel thy presence in this coming year. We long to know thee. Receive our love. Receive our devotion. We are thine. Bless us. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let's start with the song now by Swamiji, and then an excerpt from a talk by Swamiji. Welcome again, dear ones.
Lord Most High, our Heavenly Father, all our lives we dedicate to Thee, all our labors, all our joys and woes, all our pleasure, all our melody. Make us each a channel of Thy peace. When in darkness, guide us from above. Where there's sorrow, may we sow Thy joy. Where there's hatred, may we share Thy love. Lord Most High, our Heavenly Father, all our lives we dedicate to Thee, all our labors, all our joys and woes, all our pleasure, all our melody. Make us each a channel of Thy peace. When in darkness, guide us from above. Where there's sorrow, may we sow Thy joy. Where there's hatred, may we share Thy love.
You will escape from action if you will act in God-reminding ways. If what you do is something that can make you think more of Him, more about Him. Mix with those people who, above all, have wisdom. And if you can't mix with them outwardly because you don't see anybody around with it, then live with the saints in your heart. Keep their company. Read their lives. Meditate on their presence. They can be with you. They are with you. When you raise one hand upward, they drop two to pick you up. And so that presence, particularly for disciples who have come on this path, is the most important thing of all. Somebody was telling me the other day about somebody who has left his teacher. This is Santana, who is a famous musician. I don't know anything about him except his name, but also the fact that he was for 10 years a disciple of an Indian teacher. And he's left this teacher. I don't know anything about the teacher. I don't know whether he's a realized person or not. That's not the issue right now. But what this person said was interesting was that he said, well, he's left the teacher, but he hasn't really left. He hasn't left the teaching. And the truth is that the teaching is nothing compared to the teacher. The teaching is like the water trickling out of a fountain. The teacher is like the spring that gives birth to a continual flow of water. The magnetic exchange that you get from being in tune with someone like our Guru, who can change your consciousness from within, is far more important than just good thoughts and wholesome ideas and techniques and so on. Not that these things aren't important, they are. But the most important thing of all is that magnetic power that you receive in your own inner consciousness. And to some extent you receive that power from all good company. That's why the Indian scriptures say that satsanga, good company, is the most important thing of all. It's somehow in the presence of good people that you begin, slowly or quickly depending on you, to develop a taste for goodness. And this is what I've observed in the company of saints, that what they give people more than anything else, far more than right teaching and all that, important as those things are, what they give people is faith in their own potential. They begin to put goodness, saintliness, within the reach of these people's imagination. They begin to think, maybe I too could be like that.
Welcome again, everyone. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas, and I wish you a happy New Year. This is such an important time of year as we go into the new year, 2023. It's a time of reflection. It's a time of really deep gratitude. I think of how many times of Christmas and New Year's I've been with Ananda and with saintly people, living with saints, living with Swami Kriyanandaji and many great souls. And really what Swamiji's saying is so true. We change from that vibration. We change from that environment. We change from the year after year meditations and satsangs and chanting and kirtans and reading and study and serving. We change. And we don't see ourselves so much, but inwardly we've changed. And the New Year's time is a time of change. It's a time of wanting to change ourselves, to be better at something, especially our attitudes. And I remember what a wonderful tradition Master started with, having a New Year's Eve meditation instead of partying, drinking, going out and with people. He said, meditate, bring God into your year. And chanting and ringing the gong and listening to Master's voice and Swamiji's talks and so forth. What a beautiful way to go into the new year. And I remember Swamiji would encourage us with our New Year's resolutions to be practical, be realistic, but he always talked about being more in love with God. These were the things that he talked about, not trying to change this habit and change that habit. He said, he talked about things like doing more sadhana, loving God more, sharing more with people, being more kind. Very much what our path is about. And as we go forward, I like to just share a couple of those attitudes, things you might do in the next year. The first one is remembering God more. Now you see, it seems simple, but it's not easy, but it's a very down-to-earth practical one. Wherever you are now, in whatever way you remember God more. Feel you're in a relationship with Divine Mother, that she loves you, that she's caring for you, that she's helping you in all ways. And Master said to pray to God as mother, because mother's closer than the father aspect, but to talk about you, not thou, and to have a personal relationship with God, me and you. and I love you. And, to create at this time is a very special, it's wonderful attitude to cultivate. Just be in love with God more, God remembrance. And if you feel Divine Mother more as the aspect of God that you love, then talk to her. And another one that comes it's the same one, but to feel always that there's an underlying joy in your life, no matter what happens. And Lord knows everything happens. It's ups and downs all the time. But I have felt that even when things were really seemingly bad, that I still could find that joy if I really looked for it. I think, and then that's Divine Mother, that's God saying, I'm sorry you have to go through these tests, but you have to grow. But still I'm there with you all the time. Remember that God is ever there, and try to feel, and more in my own life, I know in many people's lives, you just feel a joy. There's joy there, and sometimes it's an overwhelming joy. I remember Swamiji said near the end of his life, he said, I'm mainly in bliss now, and you could see it on his face. And he couldn't hardly speak often in his talks because he was just so blissful. And I remember he said to Jayaji and I once, it's not enough to give teachings, you have to give people bliss. Give people master's vibrations. And we were feeling that from him, and I didn't really understand so much what he meant, but now I do. That if you can live more in God consciousness, God remembrance, live more in the joy of your soul, and no matter what's happening, and that takes a bit of detachment. I'm in Pune, as you might know anyway. This is my second home, it seems, and I love it here. But I was at the airport yesterday, and I just was detached. I pulled myself back. I was listening to some music, and I was preparing for class, and I just watched the scene go by, but I wasn't involved. And that was such a wonderful feeling. It's not that easy to do, but try it. Swamiji said on the Christmas talk, one of his talks, I hope you heard it, he said, remain in the self. That's the best way to celebrate the birth of Christ. It's the best way to go through the new year. Remain in the self. Be a bit more detached. Instead of all the emotions come up and, I've got to do this, and that person said this, and I'm upset about this, and just go back in the self. And I just was watching people pass by, and children jumping up and down, and one child throwing a tantrum, and the parents getting the child, and I just felt so happy in myself. I was enjoying myself. And I don't mean egoic self, I mean inside, the joy within. So try that. Try just a little bit. Master said, whatever bubble of joy you feel, just blow on it. Meaning, expand that little by little, and you will feel more. Secondly, the second attitude is to keep an uplifted consciousness through the techniques. Now, that's not that easy, but try. When something goes wrong, you're upset about this. I had this happen just a couple of days ago, and something was just bothersome. And no matter what I thought about it, it wasn't going away. So I sat down middle of the day, and I did some kriyas. And then I just felt so much better. And I think we have to remember, instead of calling somebody on the phone and talking it through and getting upset and whatever, use the practices to help you. They're tools. Use them. Energization will give you more energy. The postures will help you to relax more. Pranayama will help you to focus more and go within. Hangsa will concentrate the mind. Om will take you inside. Kriya just cleans up the karma. And as I was sitting there doing Kriya, I was thinking of that situation, and I offered it to God. In the Kriyas, which Swamiji said we can do, I offered that to Divine Mother, and I brought Divine Mother's blessings back into my spine and my life. And try that. Next time something just doesn't quite, if you can, sometimes you can't go and do some Kriyas, but at least you can lift your gaze up to the spiritual eye, as Swamiji said he did with the mood. Mood came, and he said he sat for 5 minutes with his gaze at the Kutastha, and it just went away. So this is the point now. Use the practices to break out of anger, of fear, of delusions of all types, of whatever's going on. Just take a moment and just use one of the practices. Even just inhale intense and relax 3, 6 times, 10 times if you have to, but do something instead of breaking out and crying and running all over the place and calling people up. And I mean, really, the yogic way is so much better. So try Master's way, and I bet you can come out of things faster. And then remember, as a part of that too, that the techniques can only take you so far. Really, grace is what gets us out of these things. The techniques we turn our cup up with the practices, but then grace can flow. And the grace of God, I experienced this several times in my life, and I can attest to it that God, if you can do everything you can. I remember one of my friends, first of all, with my own life, that I was going through a difficult time, and I was trying everything. I did all the practices, and I was telling this to Swamiji. This was here in India, and I said, I'm meditating, I'm affirming, I'm teaching, I'm serving, I'm doing more Kriyas, I'm doing Hong Sa more, I'm doing, I said, Swamiji, I don't know what else I can do. But I can't break out of it. And he just said, it's okay, don't worry about it. And I thought, he's saying, don't worry, I'm the one with the problem. And honestly, the next day, I woke up and I was just fine. Now that's grace. I went to Swamiji, I said, Swamiji, it's completely gone. I don't know what happened. He just said, that's good. He never called attention to himself. And one other time I told him something, it was just thanking him in such deep gratitude. I said, Swamiji, I'm just so grateful for your help and guidance in my life all these decades. And he said something that shocked me. Of course I knew it, but he said, Dhyana, Master's helping you. And, we have to realize Master's helping us. Of course he has channels, but he's helping us. The Guru's there. And so keeping the techniques going, and know that through the techniques, grace will come. And grace will stream into your life. I was about to tell another beautiful story of a dear friend of mine who no longer is in the body, but I think she helps a lot of people. And she was serving Swamiji, and then her husband passed away suddenly, and it was really a shock to everybody. And Swamiji himself did the astral ascension ceremony, and then I loved her so much. What she said was, it was the day after the astral ascension ceremony. She went to Swamiji because she was serving him and said, Swamiji, I don't know what else to do. Can I still come to your house and help here? And she was making his meals, and he said, yes, come. And one day she was cooking soon after, and he came in the kitchen, she was just weeping. And he said, what happened? What's wrong? And she just said, I don't know, Swamiji, I'm just so sad. And so he had so much compassion for people. He said, just wait a minute. And he went into his meditation room, and she told me this herself, that she said about half hour he was there, and she said, Dhyana, after a half hour, I was just fine. He never even came back in the kitchen. She said, but I was just fine, and I know it was his prayers. And I think we have to remember, pray to God, pray to gurus, pray to Swamiji, and ask them for their help. Don't try to go on alone. It just doesn't work. And if we keep them with us all the time, then you know they'll always be helping you. And another attitude to keep in mind is willingness. That no matter what God gives you, say, well, it's my karma, it's my dharma, it's what's been given to me. I'm going to say yes. Even though I don't know if I can do it, I'm going to try to do it. I'm going to say yes. And look how Ananda was created, by people saying yes, people being willing. It was created from nothing. Master's energy and vibration and his plan, but people just got in there and did it. Same in America, and same in Europe, and same in India. It started from nothing. I mean, the vibration and the power of the guru is not nothing, but people had to jump in there and just do it. And I think about all the things we have going now with the online community here, and the home study and yoga teacher training, meditation teacher training, all the centers, all the meditation groups, all the departments, and legacy and general fund and education for life, and it goes on and on and on. Education for life in the schools, and a school in Pune, and you just think about, somebody had to say yes to it. And as people say yes, Master can use you. So say yes, and not, shall I, will I, can I? Like Yanamata said, say yes and make it snappy, and then you'll figure it out. Finally, attunement, of course, is vitally important. And if there was a man, Senor Coron, he said to Master said to him, rather, I lost sight of you for some lifetimes, but I won't lose sight of you again. Senor Coron kept saying to Master, please don't lose sight of me again, don't lose sight. Now the way Swamiji explained that was that it wasn't the guru who lost sight of the disciple. It was the disciple who cut the connection with the guru. And, it was Coron who cut with Master. And so attunement comes from everything that we're doing. It keeps us in attunement with the guru so that we don't go off. And some people do go off. There was a woman who came to Master and said, I found another guru, and he can materialize his body, dematerialize, and materialize on another hillside, and I'd rather go to him. Master said, it's okay. I'll withdraw my ray. And she went on, and it didn't turn out to be so good. At least Swamiji saw her a year later. She came back, and he said the glow that was there had gone. So we can't take it for granted. The glow is always going to be there. No, I don't think so. The glow is from the gurus, let's face it. And our practices, our success in anything we do, and our practices is from the gurus, and our success in our job is from the gurus. If we can keep attunement, success with our family, success with our health, everything is coming from God and gurus. But if, no matter what happens, if you say, if you do stick with Divine Mother and the gurus and just say, I'm with you, no matter what. And then Master said, you'll be able to stand unshaken amidst the crash of breaking worlds. It will happen. But we have to stay with Master, stay with the gurus. And Swamiji said, the Master said the disciples will always be protected. But then he said this in India, he said, something is shocking. He said, that doesn't mean you won't even die, but Master will still protect you. And so as a disciple, just cling to the guru in this coming year, cling to the practices, cling to the noble attitudes and habits, and you'll find that it was all a dream. This is a wonderful thing about our path. As you meditate more and more, you begin to look around and you see it's a dream. I was so engaged in that, but it is a dream. I'm a dream. Everybody is. It all is the divine dream. And we want to break that dream as much as we can with every passing year and be more and more in God and gurus. I'd like to close with this affirmation with you all, if you can do it with me. It's a beautiful one-line affirmation. It's from this book, Metaphysical Meditations. I'll say it first. I am the Prince of Peace, sitting on the throne of poise, directing the kingdom of my life. Please say it after me. I am the Prince of Peace, sitting on the throne of poise, directing the kingdom of my life. I am the Prince of Peace, sitting on the throne of poise, directing the kingdom of my life. I am the Prince of Peace, sitting on the throne of poise, directing the kingdom of my life. I am the Prince of Peace, sitting on the throne of poise, directing the kingdom of my life. Mentally, I am the Prince of Peace, sitting on the throne of poise, directing the kingdom of my life. Om Shanti, Shanti. We have a couple of questions. I'll request Nitendra to come on screen now.
Thank you, Dhyanaji. I'll just share the questions. First question, Dhyanaji, is that the change is actually very hard, and I have tried many ways to change, but I get stuck. So how can I make a change that is lasting?
For one, be with better company. Be with people who are strong-willed, strong, energetic, magnetic, who have some energy flowing in them, and who've been around on the path longer than you. Watch them. Be with them. Meditate with them. Chant with them. Secondly, if you do the practices well, do more kriyas. Get more Shakti flowing in you. Energize twice a day. Watch your diet. Turn off the television. I mean, these things are just sapping you. And then things come and you just fall apart. So you have to have a strong will to stay on the path, to be on the path, to practice properly, to change yourself. But changes happen. Maybe it is happening. The other thing is, don't be guilty and feel bad, and that doesn't do anything for you except for draw the energy down. But I've seen things just fall off. At a certain point, they fall away. Keep your energy on the practices and your energy in Master, God and Gurus, and let them fall. Don't, I got to get rid of anger. And then you're angry because you didn't get rid of anger. Just let it happen. And be with good company, do the practices, serve. Service gets rid of a lot of problems. Some people don't do anything, but you've got to. If you serve, it speeds up your spiritual progress. All these things I've named. So don't sit and brood on it and talk about it and write about it and get a counseling session about it. Just do something. Why don't you do what Master gave? He gave a beautiful formula. Things will fall off in time with His grace and your practices.
Thank you, Dhyanaji. We have two more questions. First one is, my bad habits seem to come back. So how can they last with Master's help?
Well, you must not have gotten rid of them very well. He came back. I would say sometimes there's sort of like a dark cloud that tries to re-enter. But with the strong aura and a lot of practice and a strong person, it's going to flee. They'll try to come back, but get it out. You just got to be stronger in yourself. Something's bothering you, just, I said this maybe last week, but Swamiji was saying some egoic thing was bothering him, and one day he just shouted, "Get out!" And it just fled. So you can't pamper your bad habits and wrong attitudes. You can't sort of come back. It's okay. I like being moody. I really love you. Get out, punch it, get rid of it. But you have to really want to get rid of it. And I found that the best way is talk to Master about it, honestly. I mean, I've tried everything, but the thing that works the best, if the Guru gets rid of it for you, it will never return. So work with Master's power, and he will change you from inside, and then those changes, it doesn't go back then. But I think with psychics, maybe astrologers, maybe different people, it depends on the depth of the person, the counselor, it just depends on the person. But I remember this astrologer's Nadi reader said that Swamiji would pass away, leave his body at 3 years later than when it actually happened. They don't know everything. People put their faith in those people. You've got to put your faith in God and gurus. They're going to take you out of the body when it's the right time. So don't get frightful, and I don't know, and I'm going to call the psychic, and I've got to get a crystal ball now. Just, stay with God and gurus, and everything will work out in time. One more?
Yes, Dhyanaji, one last question. Have you seen major changes happen from this path? Can you please name a few?
Oh, God, man, how much time do you have? Of course. Of course. Otherwise, why would I still be on it? I think majorly things that have happened are deeply, deeply inside. I think the best thing that's happened in all my years on the path is I love God more and more every day. And I don't really care about the rest. Let it come, let it go, let the problems come, let them go. But I'm grateful to Master that he brought God into my heart. What more does a person want? God bless you all, and have a happy new year.